Playboi Carti is about to drop the most important album of his entire career. Well, that's if he actually stops lying and drops the album. But all jokes aside, people probably think that Whole Lotta Red was his most defining album, which honestly is true in some ways. It will probably stay that way, but his next studio album, Music, Antagonist, whatever that lesbian vampire wants to call it, is way more important to his career's numbers and mainstream wise. I'm sure we all saw these posts a few months ago about how Carti went from 16 million monthly listeners on Spotify, then did a feature with The Weeknd and pretty much doubled it, then did another feature with Travis Scott and gained about another 8 to 10 monthly listeners. 8 to 10 million, not 8 to 10. Now sitting around 35 million monthly listeners. So I think it's fair to say that right now Carti has a lot of eyes on him, especially with all of the headline performances he does when festival season comes around. Everybody is waiting for this next album, and that is what makes this so crucial. The gap between Die Lit and Whole Lotta Red was 959 days, and at this point in time we are way past that for this next album wait, going over 1,000. And before I get to the rest of the video, a lot of you who watch are not subscribed, and we are getting closer and closer to 20K. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment, and watch till the end to help out my channel. I have a really fun challenge planned for 20K, and I think you guys are gonna love it because it kind of tortures me. So yeah, subscribe. Let's get 20K. I am a small channel and everything helps. Also, follow my Instagram and TikTok for daily hip hop content. I just made those and I'm uploading every day on them. All right, back into the video. Now, the rap community is not shy to clown anyone. I mean, go to Rap TV's Instagram comments, or honestly any rap page, you will see that the hip hop community is not the most positive group of people. I've seen it in my comment sections, in my Discord especially. I've seen lots of people just act different ways, and it's very much in the rap community. I mean, Instagram does not usually have the most positive comment sections. Watch a few Instagram reels and then tell me what you see. But still, it's very prevalent on all platforms with rap communities in specific, like I said. But what I'm saying is that if this album is trash, Carti will be clowned into oblivion, knocking him off the face of the earth, especially because of all the lying and the waiting, all for what could be a mid-album. I mean, we've seen it with other artists, how one album can ruin an absolutely crazy run where everyone's loving their stuff and then they drop a shit album and it's all just ruined just like that. There is a big difference here though, and honestly, in my opinion, an edge to all of these other very anticipated albums that have came and are going to come in the future. There is just no controversy here that Carti has, besides maybe when he got arrested for beating his pregnant girlfriend, but that honestly propelled his career because everyone thought the mugshot was cold. Or I wouldn't say everyone, I would say the very few people who like just praise Carti for absolutely anything he does, and maybe his tour getting canceled. Those are the two controversies that Carti has had since this album dropped. But a great example of what I'm talking about when it comes to a big controversy is like Travis Scott and Utopia. There was a huge controversy there with the Astrofest stuff that happened surrounding his name, building up a great amount of hype and risk mainly for his next album that he was going to drop after that happened. And another great example of this is Kanye and his new album that's supposed to drop. Obviously not as much as Travis Scott, but I'm sure we all know the recent controversies with Kanye. Well, not really recent anymore. It was almost a year ago, which is just absolutely crazy how time flies. But all of these artists have had big controversies in the media, and Carti has not really had any of these, so no one can really hold him to that standard because there's nothing to hold him to besides the album possibly being mid when it drops and just being a liar. But even though there is no big controversy for Carti to make a comeback from, it has still been 3 years since Carti has dropped music. And this in itself is a big risk when it comes to dropping an album. I mean, we saw it with Uzi and Pink Tape. Now, I personally loved Pink Tape. It was one of my favorite pieces of music and projects from Uzi, but not everyone seems to agree with that. A lot of people will say that it was not worth the wait. And the same thing has a very high chance of happening with Carti's next album. People are holding this album to such a high standard, and I don't want to sound pessimistic here because I am a huge Carti fan, that it is destined to flop because it is impossible to meet those expectations that people have made up in their mind. Unless this album has insane numbers, hits on hits on hits, I think the general community of people will say that it was a flop and not worth the wait just because of how big Carti is. People are going to judge it without even listening to the full thing and letting it marinate for a bit like Whole Lotta Red. And that there is why this album means everything for Carti, because on the offside, if this is hits on hits on hits, it will solidify Carti onto a higher tier of rapper up there with these huge names like Travis, like Future, these superstars that we know in the industry, or at least on his way there. And like I said, there will be huge names, but not only from the rap industry. I think there will just be general huge artists, kind of like how Travis had Beyonce on Del Resto. The only other way I see this going is literally the complete opposite from what I'm saying, and it kind of having the opposite effect of what happened with Whole Lotta Red. Everyone is just going to dick ride the shit out of this album as soon as it drops. Along with all of this, we do have the tour coming up, which was just delayed again for the EU now, making the tour a complete 2024 tour. So maybe this tour will bring hype for the album once it drops even more, because it's kind of obvious that they're waiting for the album to drop before they all go on tour, just like how the King Vamp one did, and those performances made people come around to Whole Lotta Red. With all of this stuff happening, this rollout is definitely in progress, even if you don't think so. I'm telling you, it's here, so trust me. I will keep you guys updated on everything that happens within the next few weeks, because like I said, this album is a lot sooner than we think. Thank you guys for another great video. Once again, subscribe if you're new, join the awesome Discord community we have, and talk about all of your favorite music and say hi to me. Thank you so much again, and on that note,